What up everybody, Larry here, the FUC. And on today's video, something completely different from my channel. I'm not one into doing lists and other stuff. I'm just a straight up unboxing guy. But yesterday I was watching one of my buddy's YouTube videos, Daryl Strickland, over at Daryl Strickland's Library of Horrors. I'll leave a link to his page in the description. Go subscribe, check him out, whatever. But I saw he did a video, top 10 horror movie collectibles that he owns. And I was like, that'd be pretty easy. Before, I had so much fucking shit that it would have been hard for me to narrow down maybe 10. But actually in this past 6 months, actually probably less than that, 5 months, I literally have sold about 75% of my collection, except for stuff that I really like. Because I guess I was just going overboard and buying all kinds of shit, pretty much anything horror. Fuck that. It's all gone. Just the shit that I like is all I have now. Still a bunch of shit. Just not outrageous, you know, so much stuff you don't need. So, it's a lot easier to find 10 things. At least I thought it was. I thought it would be. When you don't own as much stuff. But, you know, I'm going to do the same thing Daryl did. Top 10, from 10 to 1. I'll say what they are, kind of where they came from, if, you know, someone made them. And, we'll go from there. I'll show a picture of them, you know. But also, I tried and I still couldn't pick really 10. So I got my top 10 though. But then at the end, I'm going to go ahead and throw up 5 or 6, you know, honorable mentions, just for the hell of it. Anyways, at number 10, I have Devil's Rejects cast signed photo. So this was actually signed by the late, great Sid Haig, Michael Berryman, Bill Moseley, Ken Foree, William Forsythe. And not long ago, I got my buddy to get me Leslie Easterbrook. So that's cool. I'm going to keep on adding to that one. As cons go and people come and go, I really want to get DDP on there. And maybe Danny Trejo. But we will see. That's to come. Number 10, Devil's Rejects. Number 9, I was so lucky to meet Lou David about a year and a half ago, who played Cropsey on The Burning. Fucking love that movie. If you haven't seen The Burning, please go watch it. Lou David was an awesome man. He's getting up there in age. He doesn't do cons or anything really, so it was cool to go and get him on the way there. I actually stopped at a pawn shop and found some old shears that looked exactly like the ones he uses in the movie, and I got them for $1, and then went and got him to autograph them. So that is probably hanging on my wall. My number 9 favorite collectible of my collection. Number 8, one of my favorite replicas ever. And in fact, looking at my list right here, I guess it is my favorite replica ever. So this is from 1987 movie Munchies. If you haven't seen the Munchies, great fucking movie. Low budget, fucking awesome movie. My buddy, the Horror Man Cave, Eric Bendel, did an amazing job making this replica for the movie, because you won't ever get one anywhere else. So I had to grab one from him, and he fucking goddamn nailed it. I love it to death. That's my number 8 favorite collectible. Number 7, Night of the Living Dead. I'm a fucking huge zombie buff. That's my number 1 go-to is zombies. A lot of people hate zombies. People like, you know, whatever, werewolf, fucking vampire, whatever, monster shit. I'm a fucking vampire guy. I mean, a vampire, fuck though. I'm a fucking zombie guy. And George A. Romero was like my hero growing up as a kid, because he's the fucking godfather of fucking the zombie. And I actually own 3 pieces, autographed George Romero's. In fact, I even did a giveaway a couple years ago and gave away a George Romero autograph. But this George A. Romero, Night of the Living Dead, is my favorite autograph by him. He actually has the A on it, the G.A. Romero, instead of just the G like normal. And you can pretty much read everything, and it is legit. So that's number 7. Number 6, Circus of the Dead. Circus of the Dead is by far my favorite independent movie ever fucking made. Billy Pond killed it in this movie. Bill Oberst Jr. acting. And a good friend of mine, Brian, over at Last Chance Customs, I guess he still does, makes fucking amazing fucking figures for you, custom figures, whatever you want. He'll try to make it for you. And I got him to, took me a while to get him to do it, but finally I got him to make me a Popcorn figure, and it turned out fucking amazing. It was the first one ever made. Since then, I know he made even more, because people saw mine and were like, holy shit, I want one. And he made a bunch. But mine was the first one ever. It's a 1 of 1 on a giant base. It's the biggest figure size, best detailed one he's ever had. I had him leave space on it. So when I went to a convention, I got Billy Pond and Bill Oberst both to sign it, and it's fucking amazing, and it's always going to be in my collection. That was my number 6. Number 5, Castle Freak. So Castle Freak, Full Moon / Empire / whatever. Charles Band's fucking movie, I guess you could say. He fucking produced it. It's an amazing movie. It's actually a freaking movie and scares the shit out of a lot of people. But I love it. I have this Executioner Castle Freak figure, which was the Japanese variant exclusive back from Full Moon years ago. This is the hardest one to find. Not that it's super expensive, but it will run you the most money. Normally between $50 to $100 for the figure alone. So I actually had a couple of them, and I had to get them autographed. So I got, I met Richard Band, of course, who does the scores for pretty much all the Full Moon movies for his brother. Got him to autograph it when he was at the convention TFW last year. That was fucking amazing. I've also gotten Jeffrey Combs on it and Barbara Crampton on it. So those are all the ones I paid for. I don't have Charles Band on it. It does it for free. But I do see him all the time, so I would definitely get him added to it next convention. So that was my number 5, Castle Freak. Number 4, Hatchet. So this isn't really a hatchet. I guess you can call it a hatchet, especially if you're a big motherfucker. But it's a hatchet / axe, all bloodied up and fucking signed by Adam Green and Kane Hodder. This ain't no fake axe or hatchet like you'll get from companies that are plastic and nothing. This motherfucker weighs like 15 fucking pounds. Solid fucking wood, solid fucking steel, fucking hatchet. And it's autographed and it's fucking badass. And that will always be in my collection too. That was my number 4 collectible. Number 3, Circus of the Dead again. But this is the original hand-painted painting by Dre Molinaire, who is a tattoo artist, I believe around the Houston area. Could be wrong. But in Texas, let's just say that. So back when Billy Pond was fighting cancer years ago, this was the one that she actually hand-painted, wrote everything on there, that they used to then copy that to mass produce the ones that they pass out, at conventions or whatever that will be signed by the cast or whatever. So this is the original hand-painted artwork that I won on and bid in an auction that whenever it was to support his cancer treatment and stuff. And it's also cast signed by everyone. So that is fucking amazing. That's my number 3 favorite collectible. Number 2, Texas Chainsaw Massacre cast signed. When I mean cast signed, I mean Gunnar Hansen, Jim Cito, fucking Marilyn Burns, Ed Neal, which he's still alive and still going around. The rest of them, I love this fucking piece. I actually got this piece from one of my best friends in the world, Stephen Barry over at Stephen's Horror Craptacular. So when he was younger, because he's like 70 now, but back when in his probably 30s, 40 years ago, back when the movie came out, he met them at I don't remember where he was at. He met them somewhere and got multiple autographs on different things and pictures with them and everything. And he knew that I really liked it because mainly I told him from the day I fucking ever first saw it, I was like, man, you should give that to me. You should give that to me. Totally joking with him. I knew he would never give it to me. Stephen gave it to me. And it's definitely a prize in my possession. Always will be. And if it goes anywhere, it's because it goes back to Stephen. But yeah, I appreciate that, brother. That's my number 2 favorite collectible in my collection. Number 1, my Coors Light Beerwolf. This is something that I have wanted my entire life. It was actually born the same year as me. I was born in 1983, and the Beerwolf came out in 1983. And growing up, my dad worked for Coors, so I'd always see the Beerwolves everywhere. Whenever he would take me to work, we go to stores. My grandpa owned a bar, and there was one sitting in the bar. My whole life growing up, I always wanted my own fucking giant, what is it, probably 7 foot tall Beerwolf. And finally got one a couple years ago, and it's definitely my favorite fucking thing I own. It has been repainted, which is okay. I kind of like to be more of the original, but I might, repaint it myself one day or get my daughter to. I won't do it. But yeah, definitely my prize of my collection is my big Beerwolf. And it definitely is not going anywhere. In fact, I tried to buy another one about 6 months ago. My wife wouldn't let me. But good thing about that one was, because you never see them come available, and when you do, they're super expensive. But when I saw a new one come available a couple months ago, I tried to get it. Wife said no. Thank God, my own cousin bought it. So now when I go to his house for all our holidays, he's got the other Beerwolf. So Beerwolf cousins now. Anyways, that's my top 10 favorite collectibles that I own in my collection. However, let me tell you about some honorable mentions that may have just didn't make the cut. My House 2 Catter Puppy. So I always wanted one of these. I've seen Catter Puppies around, usually expensive. My buddy over at Nightmare Reality, I asked him if he was still making them. He said that he would. Made me one years back. It's fucking amazing. I love it. The Catter Puppy. So fucking cute. So fucking goddamn, I don't know. It's like, it's not even a horror. It's a fucking Catter Puppy. It's so cute. Wasn't even mean in the movie. So, anyway, House 2 Catter Puppy. Honorable mention. My Graboid 3D replica from Tremors. It's awesome. You never see pieces from Tremors unless, there's some big, plaques, bust coming out of a wall. But to have a fucking, nice, good fucking size, looked like a big ass turd Graboid. This came from my boy over at Tony's Dark Nightmares. You can go hook him or hit him up. Buy some cool shit from him. He does 3D printing and other stuff. Definitely go grab that one if he's still making that. I'm not sure if he is. Next, my Demon Knight Blood Key. So this is a more recent pickup from one of my best friends, Darren, over at fucking Serial Resin Co. Darren has been making fucking all kinds of killer shit here lately. And I don't really have a lot of money right now. I'm pretty broke. So it's real, I have to be real thin about what I do purchase, at least until, income tax. But definitely he put this one out a couple months ago. I had to fucking have it. Reached out to Darren. Boom. Demon Knight Blood Key. Fucking awesome. Next, Robert Englund Freddy Krueger signed figure. So I am not a giant Robert Englund fan, at least not for Freddy Krueger. I mean, I love him in a bunch of other movies. But this one is fucking cool. I love it because not just because it's signed Freddy Krueger. It's even got the year it was signed, 2003. The movie came out 84. It's, inscribed one to him coming for you. There's just so much done to it that I really fucking like it and would never get rid of it, even though I'm not really a big fan of the movie. Next, we have my Phantasm 2 Don Coscarelli autographed one sheet poster. I love the Phantasm movies. I know they get fucking crazy as they go on, but there's something different compared to other fucking movies that are famous from the 70s, 80s, and they did their own thing, whether people liked it or not. Don Coscarelli was awesome directing, and I've always been stoked to have that in my collection. Next, so this is my Kane Hodder painting. So this was actually painted by a buddy of mine. You can find him at Art by Deeds. He does a bunch of really fucking badass spray paint art. And he actually painted this. So you got Kane Hodder, plus then you have Kane Hodder as Jason. And then it's autographed by Kane Hodder. So it's definitely a cool ass piece that I actually purchased from Art by Deeds, his own collection. He made it for pretty much himself and got it autographed. And then I bought it from him. So that's cool. And last but not least, these are probably the least expensive figures, at least for what they are. But this is two figures, Killjoy and Batty Boop. The only reason that I'm even putting these in the collection, that I'm putting these right now in the honorable mentions, is because these were the first ones ever made. And when I mean by the first figure ever made, I mean this is actually this was the first ever Killjoy figure and the first ever Batty Boop figure ever made. This one right here in my collection, and that's why they were autographed. The box and the figures are both autographed. Trent Haga, and he also inscribed "I'm motherfucking Killjoy," along with Victoria DeMar. She wrote Batty Boop or whatever, and yeah, fucking awesome figures. So before these figures were actually released, they did Full Moon did a one-time thing where one person could purchase the figures as a 2-pack together, and you'd be the first one to own them, and then especially signed by the actor and actress and everything. And I got them, so yeah, fuck it. But you can still buy just the figures nowadays since they've been released. I just had them, about 6 months early, which was cool for a video. Anyways, so I do have a lot more shit in my collection that I really like. I just couldn't make this video fucking hours long. But hey, I appreciate y'all watching. And if you want to make a video like this, please do. Tag me in it. Tag Daryl Strickland in it. Like I said, go subscribe to Daryl. over at the Library of Horrors, or Library of Horrors, Daryl Strickland's Library of Horrors. And leave some comments if you want. Leave comments of what your top 10 shit is. If you don't want to make a video, tell me about what you like about my shit, or what you don't like about my shit, or how you would change it, or whatever the fuck you want. But if you can, just please hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit that bell for notifications if you do subscribe. I think that's about it. If I think of something else, I might fucking make another video. Anyway, appreciate y'all. Appreciate all of y'all. Let's try that again. Appreciate all of y'all. And appreciate you, Daryl. Till next time. Deuces.